everyone, and welcome back to the second episode of Power Talks. And today we are going to discuss about from campus to unicorn how students can build disruptive startups. So, we all know that we are living in the age of AI, and we cannot deny the fact that AI has become the backbone of disruptive startups. So we all know that AI is everywhere, and me being a professor in English literature, I am talking about AI today to a founder and CEO of organizations, and this is a part of upskilling. And I really thank SNS for giving me all the platform and opportunity to learn about AI. And to answer some of the real time questions, we have a very interesting personality. He is a well known entrepreneur, co founder of Astute Group, and CEO of Rethinkers Advisory, and ex president of TAI Madhya Pradesh, Mr. Jain. I'm really happy to welcome you, sir.
So, thanks, Tulsi. Thanks, Shakti, for inviting me here, and glad that to interacting with a lot of the students from especially from South India. Uh, Although I love about the topic about an AI and how it is going to impact about the startups and how there is a great opportunity for all the students to build their own new startups, and especially I'm talking about the engineers also who are being under very big threat post in AI. So I think we are going to discuss about a very different topics here. I will try to speak about more about that how really AI can become as a great opportunity, especially for the engineers.
Right. Yes, sir. So before we get into the session, I hope you don't mind if I ask you. There was one line that I found very interesting on your LinkedIn profile bio. So you had mentioned as hire the brains and pay for lifestyle. So that was a very bold line that you had written, and that sounds like a philosophy, not just a line. So could you please unpack what that was?
Yeah, I think Tulsi, great that you had already gone through my LinkedIn profile and noted the point. Trust me. So I'll tell you my background. So I started my journey since age of 14. Although we belong to the family business background, and we had set up multiple businesses. Although my father is a renowned entrepreneur, but setting up a new age businesses, I'm talking about close to about a 2.5 decades ago. So in 2000, my brother has completed his engineering. He had built something on the 4G technology. And after that, completing my studies in 2003, I invited him to bring back from Japan. And then we founded our own companies. So when we were setting up the companies in very early age, stage of 2003, so that's why the group name has come Astute. Okay, Astute, you know already meaning is that the smart entrepreneurs. Okay, okay. So what is the important thing was that the talent were not available. Okay, on those days, and we thought it's not about that. The people are going to retain in the tier two cities like Indore. It's very difficult. I'm talking about in 2003. It was very difficult. So me and my brother has decided that how we can really build an ecosystem in Madhya Pradesh and especially in Indore to bring new age talented people, especially for the technology. So obviously 2003 AI was not there, but definitely there is a lot of technology were there. Okay, and since that time the era of the CDMA was about to start. Okay, and that's why we started bringing a lot of games and applications. So we are India's one of the largest games and apps developer on those days. We built more than 7,000 games and apps, and we are well renowned. So whatever the movies you might have seen in the Bollywood and sometime especially in the South, whether you name it as a like a robot, most of the games has been built by us. Okay,
That's wonderful. Yeah.
so those time we decided that we have to hire a talent, and then we given the punchline on those time: hire the brains and pay for lifestyle. Because technically you cannot evaluate anyone on their what capacity. You cannot pay them against their brain, but what you can match is only the lifestyle. And I think if we given this punchline, that really helped us now directly indirectly in last 2.5 decades, close to 5,000 people has worked under us. Okay, maybe in some are on our payroll, some are on our client's payroll, but worked on our beautiful ideas, which we are going to discuss it about today.
Yes, that's a wonderful thought, sir. All right. So, like we discussed earlier about AI and its massive advancements, and also Astute being in front of helping to build disruptive startups. In what ways can engineering skills like coding and the product design and system thinking give students an edge in building disruptive startups, because for starting a business, now it is a tie between between AI and the business start ideologies of having a good knowledge about doing a good marketing, digital marketing, right? So how do you think having this combination has to be given a priority?
No, I think today AI is a buzz. Tomorrow there will be a different technology. So let me tell you that why AI will stay here first, and then I will going to answer that how is an opportunity for the engineers and especially all the skill set what they have. Okay, anything which you are going to build and any technology. So I think the three aspects are very important to look at. Okay, one, we look at from the angle of that whether really the intelligent people are talking about. Okay, the talent is talking about, intellectual people are talking about. Okay, then definitely is an AI's technology. Today you look at all the big giants, whether it's Microsoft, Google, or now today in India, all the big shots are talking about. So that means the technology is here. There is another is a tangent, whether really this technology will solve the problem. Okay, and trust me, today I personally has implemented so many AI agents. Okay, so many agentic AIs, and it's really solving killer problems and really a very, very big complex problem in a very, very lesser time. I think that's very important. A third thing is that whether this technology is just a talk point. Sometimes the technology comes and we're just talking about, okay, but it's not impacting. So I think if the three tangents are being looked at, whether it's a talk point, whether it's a talent, whether it's a tangent, I think in all these three criteria, AI will stay. Definitely now the people are talking about whether there is a really AI will stay or not, that the bubble will be burst. Okay, but trust me, AI will stay along with us. This is going to impact. So I'm talking to all the students who are especially from engineering background, whether they have a skill set of a coding, whether they have a skill set of related to building up products. I think there is a great opportunity. This era, don't you have to think about that the AI is going to replace it. Trust me, there is a great opportunity. Earlier, you are only doing a job for third person. Okay. Now, I think there is a great opportunity using an AI and trying to solve a complex problem, because AI is today solving a simple problem, then later the complex. But trust me, the complexity has a never end. So there is a great opportunities for all the engineers who has this kind of a skill set to work around. But I want to give a cautions around it that it is not going to eat your job. It is going to enhance and giving an opportunity to build a new product, new entrepreneurship thing. But only the thing that one the engineer has to understand that if they two engineers are together, cannot build a good company around it. There should be need a combination of it. Okay, so there should be a complementary approach. So my suggestion to all the students, all the engineering students, don't start your own startup just two colleagues, but rather tie up with other management colleges, other business colleges around that, and build a company where there will be a complementary approach. And third, that never ever start a company without a mentor. There is a big differentiation in that, because what happened when you start your own business, there is a lot of risk is involved, and keeping that risk, your vision has to be very, very clear. So what happened at the age of 21, 22? Okay, if you are trying to build something around, it's a good that you have an energy, but the vision is not there. So you have a passion, but you don't know where exactly you have to put the target, the dots where it is going to get hit. So if a good colleague who are from management college and with a good mentor, there is a big differentiation between a mentor and advisor, which generally I suggest. Mentor someone who works on a jockey, and advisor who work on a horse, means a startup. So try to understand that if someone who, as a mentor, who can work on you with your passion and energy, what definitely Gen Z is having, okay, which I'm really passionate about to meet and interact with them, and along with a founder, co-founder who has a management knowledge. So somebody, so you make a skill sets completely. Okay.
Right.
And then you have a mentor where your vision is clear. Okay. So trust me, you are going to achieve. So I say, earlier you were doing a job under someone. I think there is a great opportunity post in AI that you are going to build your own product with a minimum cost, with a minimum people. But keep my this mind, this is the strategy. If you opt for it, you are going to build a unicorn very soon. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, yes, sir. You have answered the question right. And as you begin answering, I was also have had this fear of asking a question about layoffs. Since you have already touched that, I'm going to rule out the question because I don't want to instill more fear in the hearts of the students. All right. So we are talking about startups and starting up and business these days is easy as well as it is difficult. And but why I say difficult is to understand their own product, right? I don't know how much efforts the students of engineering they do to understand the market to build a product, right? So even if they are building a product and we have to talk about its pricing and stuff like that. My question would be, what's the smartest way for students to build and validate their first MVP with limited resources? And I think that is also one of the services of Rethinkers advisory, right?
Yeah. So I think, Tulsi, you asked a great question. So although continuing to my previous question, so I told you that, okay, if they want to build something, a product, okay. So my understanding is that if they can bring another co-founder from a business background, and they must have a mentor, because without mentor, starting a company is really, really killing itself, because you don't have a vision, you don't have a path, and you are starting it, then you are not going to work around it. What happened on all about a YouTube video, which a motivational speakers talk about, but they talk about a generic. They are just giving a piece of advice. A one of piece of advice what you're given to Mark Zuckerberg, and what one of the piece of advice, same advice you are giving it to the student will not work. Similarly, and a student who are based out of let's assume a tier two city like Indore, and I'm giving an advice to them, and I'm giving an advice to the same advice to the student in South India. Okay, it's going to be difficult because they are not the same. What mentor works around it, that give an advice according to the jockey. What exactly it is. The same advice, just tweaking it around. But what happened, what is important for him? So that is the most important thing, is that if these three things, one co-founder from a business background, engineer background, they are themselves, and along with a mentor, if they build a company, which can be easily done. And I think now today is the world of the equity sharing. They can build it. And now, along with this knowledge, if you build an MVP, then it is going to impactful. The reason is MVP will not have just about a technology aspect, and that's what the engineers makes mistakes. They tell, "Oh, I built so many features," and suddenly, if the business co-founder will come, "Oh, I don't want so many features. My client is simple; they need a very minimum feature."
Right, right,
And
right.
the third, if they don't have a mentor, they don't know which market should be target. So they are building up things, building a good product, building a good engineering features around it. But trust me, there is no market for it. So these combinations makes an MVP much viable product, not only on the perspective of engineering features, but also from a business perspective, as you mentioned about the digital marketing or the marketing. Because, and along with the mentor, it gives a clarity that who is going to buy for it, what price point it is going to buy for it, what business model is going to work around it, whether this exists with the other competitors or not, how the benchmarking is going to be happen. So along with this knowledge, which becomes a 360-degree knowledge,
Right.
and then you are going to make an attempt, that MVP is going to touch all the angles. And that's the reason there is a great probability, okay, and the probability to get success of that product in the market, and adaptability, acceptability. And obviously, after you got, and then you think about, now there is a great time to create an awareness about the product, which has been already working in my local community. It's good with a very my minimum bootstrap budget, or
Right.
maybe with the grants from the colleges, or from the grants from the some institutions. And if that is workable, I think there is a great time now that to approach to the investors. I am guarantee that there is a great and much higher probability in comparison to earlier. Now with this combination, if you go and raise for a fund, there is a great probability that you are going to get raise that fund. I think this is something what engineers has to learn around it. And now, since you touch about an AI, so now I'm telling you about in the MVP. Important thing what generally engineers make mistake is that they jump into the solutions, because they believe it, oh, I'm an engineer, let me do code and let me my skill set, so I build the product.
Right, right,
Okay,
right.
that's the biggest mistake. Being a mentor, my advice to all engineers that if you want to build a product, at least spend 3 to 6 months to dive into only the problem. Don't even scratch a small code just to build it. Okay. Just analyze the problem. Use artificial intelligence. Use their capability. Use their research reasoning. Okay, because I personally has done 700 plus AI tools engineered it. I'm building my own AI tools, my own AI agentic tools personally. Okay, for my own purposes also.
Right.
So trust me, if you build your all focus on the problem with the reasoning that how deep dive into the problem. Go meet with the people locally over there, meet with the entrepreneurs whose problem you want to solve it, and just analyze the problem. Because trust me, building a solution will not help you to raise a fund.
Right.
What's going to help you to raise a fund is your passion and how deep knowledge about you have about the problem. I think if this combination is available with you, along with the mentor and along with the another co-founder who are from a business background, that makes your startup completely. And after that, whatever the MVP you guys are building it up, trust me, that is going to really rock because it has already touched all the points.
Right, right, right. So it is not about, I think business and startups is not that we discuss in college. It's beyond and it's way more interesting and serious, right? To talk about MVPs and all after getting into the platform, the actual platform. All right. So when starting a business, not all of the skills that you've learned uh, could could work out, right? Something one might be interested in building an UI UX design. I'm talking about the team as a startup. So one might be into marketing and one might be into ideation. So, when you're planning to convert a startup to an actual business platform, uh, what should students look for when they're forming a startup team, and how do you balance technical skills and the business skills?
Okay. So good questions. So let me tell you what generally the people makes a mistake, and especially I'm talking about the new age founders. Okay. So I give always a definition. A founder meaning is that who found himself. The biggest ignorance what all my, because I interact with almost like 100 startups every month. Okay, meet with so many founders every month, every day. Okay, what I found is that they have think about, okay, I can build everything along with the team. So they believe it, if there is need a dependency, I need a co-founder, I need a, trust me, first of thing is that consider yourself as your own first team. You are the first team, and you have to learn everything is around. Okay, because you cannot deny on it. Because the what happened, the most important thing which generally I comment to my founders and especially my mentee companies, okay, that don't just make sure that you found himself, just also believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you can't. Now coming back, if it's done, then everything is just about decision making. Because generally what happened, if you might have read a lot of management books, and I will recommend to all students that just read one of the very old book but very renowned, very relevant even in today's context also, Subrata Bakchi's high performance entrepreneurship. It's an amazing book. Okay. And there is a very simple statement there that whatever you do it, there is a two tasks every founder has to do. One is that prepare and strategies, the vision and everything. And that's the reason I recommend to have a mentor along with you. And the second thing is that right people at the right job. And that's the reason I asked about the right co-founder should be over there. Okay. With this combination, along with these two people or three people of the team, okay, or along with the three co-founders with the mentor, I think whatever now you are going to build is going to be really, really impactful. Now coming back, try every problem solved by yourself first because you are on a very young stage. You don't need team immediately because what happened when you start recruiting a team, it starts creating an overheads. Okay. So my suggestion is that whenever you start and recruiting a team, okay, when you think about this is perfect, now everything is done, everything is perfect, now I need a certain co-founding team along with that to for a more further research and everything, then you start recruiting. But trust me, having a team is an overhead, so you have to be very careful and cautious, especially on a very early stage of the startup. Okay, because that's very important. Because if you start any overheads immediately, then your dependency is going to be that. But I'm not denying that you don't need a team, you need a team. Now once your MVP is done, there is a traction is available, there is a great that possibility you are about to raise an investors funds also, and you find that there is a great possibility I will able to raise a funds also. Now you identify all your teammates to whom you want to recruit it, along with the consultation with your other co-founder and the mentor. Build a team, build a good mind map, build a HR that okay, what exactly I wanted to solve. Precise it. Not only just precise that what team you need it, but also precise every detailing what exactly the task I need to get it done from my team. And now in AI, you can build it everything that okay, what exactly the task, and you have another co-founder and a mentor. You can cross-validate what I got an AI. Okay, exactly this problem I'm going to solve. Third, being an engineer, this problem I already solved it.
Right.
Okay. Now the same task has to be done by my other teammates. Second most important thing, since you already touch about a point that hire the brains and pay for less style, try to recruit a team. Okay, once your prototype, everything is really on an admirable level and ready to raise for a fund. Try to recruit even senior profile than you. Just don't think about to recruit a junior guys. Try to recruit a senior guys. Now what happened? Now senior guys, along with the ESOP options, along with the some equity options available to them, they can be really come as an affordable rate. What happened when you hire someone who is better than you? It does not only that it's going to strengthen your product, but as well as it is going to help and learn a lot of things from him. If you recruit a junior, okay, then definitely you have to teach them. So I'm not denying that it's a combination of that. But at initial startup, I try that if you can recruit even senior people than you, because you have already built a successful product, there is a certain MVPs available. Then now you have to learn about an art from a mentor,
Right.
how to handle this senior profile. Otherwise, what happens? You recruit a senior profile without a mentor, it's going to be very difficult to handle them.
Right.
So if this combination builds it, trust me, there is a great way that you can build a very successful startups. So these are the minimum things they have to take care when they are starting looking for it. And once this is combinations comes, trust me, there is a great probability that you don't have to chase investors. Investors are going to chase you.
Right, so right. So that's a wonderful thought because I've seen the early startups, the young founders, they avoid hiring senior members in the advisory board. I don't know what the reason could be, but then that is a wonderful thought that you had given. Why you should give importance to art of experience from a senior hand. Right. Now, you also specifically said that why dividing work between the team members is important and how AI makes the work easier, right? Now suppose that the startup is ready, right? And now the student may not know what he has to do, the next step forward to take off his product to the next level. Especially in the terms of raising funds, right? When the student is stuck. So when could be the right time for a young founder to approach an investor?
Okay. So, as I just wanted to correct the last statement what you have given, I'm not telling that, okay, the more talented people has to be placed as an advisor. I'm asking about that even the more talented people can be available as a part of team under you.
Okay.
So that is going to be important. Okay, so that's the point. But coming back to get ready and to check what stage whether MVP is available. And I'm just talking about the now new age of era post an AI, that how we implement and how we make sure our mentee is ready for whether for fundraise or not. Okay. So just let me take you time that it is what happened. It is called a TAT, which is called a turnaround time. So for any MVP to get validated, whether it's ready for a market or not, what is most important thing is that the acceptability among their client or a potential clients. Okay, so they have to make sure about that. They build an MVP, but go to the potential clients, check with their problems whether this is really acceptable or not. The second point is that whether they have really liked the product, but whether they have an intent to pay. Okay, I will pay certain amount around it. Okay, whether it's a 5,000 or 2,000 or maybe a 500 a month, is there is an intent to pay. Otherwise, there is a plenty of entrepreneurs are available, plenty of products are available. They're loved about it, everything they're using continuously, but they don't have any intention to pay for it. Once you start paying, okay, they are going to switch to other. It means you are not solving the problem. So you have to understand that what deeply it is. And third, yes, if everything is done and someone has paid you, I think if this particular cycle has got completed, that means you are ready. Because VC fund is a costly fund. It's easy money, but it's a costly fund. To try that, you have to first make sure about a fundraise around it. That whenever you go and raise for a fund, just make sure that these three things has got completed. MVP is ready. You are somebody is already using it. Maybe it's a free of cost. They have an intention to pay or not. You are already validated. And third is that that someone has already paid you. If that number is substantially, maybe in the range of 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, whatever is that, I think once that revenue has started coming in your pocket, I think you are already ready for raising a fund. But not every idea you have to be a pre-revenue. So it depends on an idea also that what stage this could be. But trust me, the validations from a client gives you a clear indication that you are ready to raise for a fund.
All right. Yes. Yeah. All right. And I think I'll move on with the next question. It's about the general mistakes that the founders do. And how can these young founders can turn their failures into their stepping stone?
So I always say in my all other podcasts, generally most of the lectures I generally tell this is because very very common questions among all of them. But I generally ask that this question has to be addressed again and again. I always say that because I belong to the business family background. That's thanks, but that's got business in my blood. Okay, but I studied a lot. I read close to 6,000 plus management books. Met with close to 200 to 300 spiritual gurus in my life. I know 100 plus school of thoughts. I have researched around a big thing around it on this particular piece. Okay, so coming back, that what generally the founders makes a mistake. It is a very common, whether it's you are a founder or whether you are a professional or whether you are on any position, even in your at home. The biggest challenge what everyone face is a communication gap. And this, even I'm telling you, even you can listen my podcast after 10 years, still this statement will remain same. Because in this world, complex world, the biggest problem is a communication gap. So when, especially now coming to the startup, when they are starting, so generally they start with the friends and families, either the colleagues, someone to whom know, but they are not making sure that whether for a startup that particular co-founder or colleague is right fit or not. Because are you really compromising sometime? So sometime what happens, you just go with the motion. Or just okay with an emotion. So it's my friend. Let me start it. Let's build something together. I think that's where you have actually ignored whether he's really right or wrong, whether he has a potential to correct it or not. I'm not denying that you can't start with your good friend or a fast friend. You can, but you have to caution. Second, the people don't make a founder agreement. Okay. So wherever they start a company with their friends, families, colleagues, okay, they just do as a simple, oh, it's an understand. But what happened once it's got a starting building up, when there is a certain overhead, somebody has to share over it. The working capital has to be managed, or there is a challenge of the go-to-market strategy, or there is roles and responsibility. Nothing has been defined into the defined agreement. Trust me, if you have a mentor, he will decide for it. Maybe not necessary you put an agreement, but at least put across an email that what are the responsibilities, and if this responsibilities somebody is not fulfilling it or somebody is not keeping for it, okay, what are the repercussions going to be? If it is already acceptable with a generic, and if you have a mentor, he can really at a very early stage can work like an arbitrator kind. These problems can be easily solved. So most of the startups, even before funded, okay, they don't get scale it up, even they don't get funded because there is a conflict between the founders. Similarly, way even post funding, and I'm specifically focusing that funding means institutional funding, because if you are raising fund from angel investor and all, it's not that great. because real funding is from an institutional funding.
Right,
Even
right.
with the all founder agreement and everything is in place, still the people get and the startup get failed just because of the communication between the founders. So I think if there is a right mentor with the very clarity of the communication that what you're happening or keeping it among the not only between the founders or mentors, but also with the investors, also with your stakeholders, where the employees, vendors are there, their clients, customers. If you can make sure that the every communication is a clear, there is a great chance that you are going to build a great product, and along with that, you are going to build a brand. Trust me, if you want to go too far, okay, too far, don't just run alone. You have to go along with the team because you can go faster, but you are not going to get that kind of a gain or the triumph. Actual success is that along with the team, along with the all the stakeholders. It's not about just what the team you have or the employees you have. Your vendors, your are the stakeholders. Your customers are your stakeholders. What the brand you are building, that the perception what you are creating in the market, that is, you can't cheat with everyone. And trust me, if you want to build something around, just make a one corrections in yourself, that whatever the communication I'm going to do, it is going to be crystal and clear. Whatever the promise I'm going to give, whether it's to my co-founder, whether it's to my other stakeholders, whether it's the customer, or whether my investors, I'm going to keep my words. Because if you don't want to get failed in your life, trust me, correct in yourself first. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you are not going to build a brand tomorrow. And if you want to get success, just make sure your words are as equal as promise. So generally in my organizations, it's very clear that, and there's a one statement which I generally give it to many of them. Whatever the communication I said verbally, okay, it is my duty that I reduce it into a writing in two way. If it is an unofficial, maybe in the any small messenger or maybe in the small like WhatsApp and all. It's a official, then I will record into a email. If
Right, right.
any verbal communication communicated by me in less than 24 hours, not reduced in writing, don't consider that communication ever exists.
Right, right.
What happened when I started building these kind of a concept? All my communications to my stakeholders were perfectly fine. Everybody was very clear. "Oh, whatever the communication as Jay has done, that definitely is going to be recorded. There's certain
Right, right.
records are there, certain piece of things." Then what happened? The people started building around it, and there were no communication exist. It's very difficult because somebody can cheat you anytime. But trust me, no, everyone does not mean to have an intention to cheat for it, because everything can't be recorded. Their meaning can be changed. But when you reduce in writing, the meaning is exactly the same. Why I say to all my founders and mentee companies, please record and please make sure that you have your own business plan, because two things can't deny. One, if you are speaking in a number, so say for example, I want to transfer maybe a 2 lakh to Tulsi, then 2 lakh is exactly the 2 lakh. It has a no other meaning. It does not mean that, okay, 2 lakh means what? 2 lakh means 2 lakh. You
Right,
exactly
right.
understand the same thing. And similar way, obviously in the communication side, when you are writing to the word, make sure it. And now in the world of AI, make sure that you get your writing corrected through an AI. So whatever you are now going to communicate is going to be perfectly fine, and you can tune it. Whether I want to write it casually, whether I want to read it professionally, whether I want to write it legally. Make sure that what situation you are in, communicate that, but make sure that you communicate, because communication is only the biggest problem among anywhere. Any conflict arise because of the communication gap.
Communication. That's a wonderful thought, sir, because that also gives insights on why startups fail at a very early stages, right? Students, they do jump into conclusion, they just instantly start a business because of retaining the friendship, because they are friends, and they have come up with a product, and somehow they have to secure the product, or that is out in the market, and they have to earn money. They have no other joy. They have spent so many years, discovering it, researching on it. And yeah, and communication is one of the greatest things that people should focus on to retain several things. Now, if that is the case, and what advice is now, since this could also be considered as an advice, what few other advices can you give for today's students who are dreaming on building a unicorn, or what could it be?
So definitely, I always say one my punchline is that believe in yourself. But the second thing, the most important thing which I ask, that work on your decision making skill sets. Trust me, it is not an education is going to be end when you finish your college. Okay,
Right.
a college or a degree can tell you just okay, fine, you had completed certain things and you have a certain skill sets in your kitty. But building a unicorn or building a great founder, okay, trust me, it can come with your decision making skills. Because I don't want to use Hindi, but in Hindi there is a word called udyami, which means that a person who has capability to take a decisions. So you have to work on your skill sets and refining of your skill sets on decision making side, because decision making is very 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 important. And I'm telling you, so I read Subrata Bakshi's book High Performance on Entrepreneurship, where they talk about two things. Okay, having a right strategies as well as that having a right people at the right job. Even this too is the decision, whether decision is right or wrong. This is again a decision making. So what I say is a one liner focus is that decision making is the most important. Now I will tell you, since you asked about a question, so you might have go through my LinkedIn profile also. So I'm a founders coach as well, and I teach the people that how to make a decision making. So there is a great strategy which I built in so many years, which we called is a doctrine of anekantification. Anekant is a very great philosophy from Jainism, okay, which means that how you think about in a multiple ways. And I hope you might have seen Satyamev Jayate from Amir Khan. And after that, one of the sessions he told about the one of the best beautiful principle he learned from Jain community is Anekantwad. Okay, and Anekant is where every you can listen to everyone. You listen with every aspects. That's an Anekantwad. And but since we belong from a Jain philosophy, I deeply researched. I told you I read so many books, as well as I read close to more than 2000 plus shastras, and especially in Jainism I read 200 plus shastras. I
Right.
got very deeply analysis in last 15 years, okay, and I understood about an anikant. So anikant is a concept where multiple point of view thinking come, okay. But since you asked about a decision making process, so I cross verify every decision with the three steps, even whether it's a very small decision or whether it's a very very complex decision. And trust me, you have to apply this particular doctrine not only in the professional world, but in your personal world, which is or your parivar world, where your families are there, your friends are there, or even for any complex decision of your emotion, which even you can't share with anyone. Even you apply over there, trust me, you are not going to regret for it. So principle is a very simple. The people generally think rational. So, for example, let me give you an example about a rational is that there is a pen, okay, which is available for 10 rupees, which is available for 8 rupees, which is available for 6 rupees. Trust me, even your servants or even somebody on a very junior position can go also into the market and they can find out, oh, it's fine. The same quality is available at 6 rupees. Let me buy it for 6 rupees. That's called a rational thinking. But trust me, leaders are not built based on the rational thinking. Okay, when leaders are built, so they think very differently out of the box. So generally, rational thinking is with assumption, and lateral thinking is when you break the assumptions. So I recommend to all the founders to read about one of the uh, thought processes called lateral thinking. And
Right.
one of the very great author is Edward de Bono, who is a great scientist and the father of the lateral thinking. That you can think about very hatke. Okay, it's in Hindi word hatke, which is like a jugaad, or which we look at. Just break the assumption and break the rules, and then let me think it around. Okay, because for solving a medical problem, you don't have to sometimes be a doctor. You can solve it in with simple ways also. So
Right.
trust me, that's something if you break with the concept of the lateral thinking. Oh, 10 rupees, 8 rupees pen, 6 rupees pen. Okay, can I use it a pencil? Oh, if that pencil works for me, it doesn't make a difference. I'm using it for temporary, I'm just for marking. Why should I buy for 6 rupees a pen? Okay, if the things can be done in a 2 rupees of pencil. So what happened? They break the assumption. Oh, for this particular task, I don't need a pen. Even my pencil can work. Okay. So
Right.
obviously I say, now you just look at, you are talking about 10 rupees. Now you're just talking about the 2 rupees.
2 rupees.
Now we go beyond with that. These are the things, if somebody thinks, you can become a manager in any company. You can be a leader, you can be on a senior profile, or maybe on the professional CEO, CXOs, or maybe on the leadership style of a vice president. But you cannot become an entrepreneur. For an entrepreneur, you have to go one more step ahead.
Ahead.
Then you have to think about from all 360-degree angles, which I talk about a concept of anekant. When you think from a different angle, that okay, let me just think it about how my customer is going to react, how my investors are going to react, whether I'm going to build a brand with this or not. Then think about it. Is it possible there is a more alternate ways where I can find out? Then there is a great chance that then we found it, okay, fine. Why should I invest about it? That man, and if this entire pen, pencil, or whatever I want to buy, even a higher thing, even I get it even better than a pen, way like a Parker pen. And if I can get maybe a 10 paisa annual rent or a 20 paisa annual rent, then I can definitely get it. So now you are talking about, earlier you were using a pen for a 10 rupees, you got max for a 6 rupees. Now 6 rupees cost has gone and the lateral thinking has gone to a 2 rupees. And now with the anaconfication, with the kind of an impact, now I'm using a Parker pen, which is at least 15-20 times costlier than what I was using it
Right.
at a cost of 15-20 paisa annual rental. Now, technically, if I'm even using it for a 10 years, it is not going to get it. So just think about it, how you can implement your thought process around
Right.
with this decision making, with all relevant angles, and what going to build a brand. So what happened? Traditional schools were not giving that kind of a decision making. So trust me, whatever the decision take, whether it's a professional life, in your parivar life, or whether it's your personal life, you just make sure, just give a pause and cross validate that decision, whatever you have taken from rational, cross validate with the lateral thinking, and
Right.
further cross validate with the multiple point of view thinking with the anikantification. This doctrine of anikantification, what you can implement in your every decision making. Trust me, there is a great way, or there is a, you are not going to regret for your decision, that you are already satisfied. Oh, with this, the current situation, with the current timelines, whatever the decision I can take with this steps, I already given a sufficient thought and I took it. So I'm not going to regret for it. It's
Right.
not important that every time, even with this process, whatever the decision you take, it's going to be the best one. But sometimes your situations, your timings, and everything, among that, if being a cool, you are taking this way, a decision making, trust me, your decision will be more accurate. The probability of decision just taking upright and taking it with this method, it's going to be amazing. And trust me, so you start implementing this process, you are not going to take more than a few seconds every time. Okay, it will automatically start processing in the background. Oh, rational, lateral, and with the multiple ways. Trust me, your decision will be far superior. And once this process you start implementing, trust me, you are going to build a great startup. And you are now, earlier, you are just a rational thinker, so you are as equivalent to a junior profile. When you lateral thinker, you can become a CEO, you can become a professional, you are just. But when, trust me, when you started taking decisions with the 360 degree angle, you are really building yourself to become a founder. And with the great founder, with the no communication gap or a less communication gap, with the clear commitment of your promises, trust me, whatever you are going to build, the people are going to chase you. You don't have to go chase them. And that's that. So what you say is that diamond, you don't have to go and talk about that what diamond quality it is. Diamond is diamond.
Right.
And trust me, every student, and message my communication and the piece of advice to everyone is that you are a diamond. Just believe in yourself. For your shining, you don't have to depend on others. Just work on yourself. Just make your decision making perfect. Just make sure whatever the promise I do or the communications I communicate, I will be promised and through it. I think you just build everything within you. You are going to shine. And that's what I believe, that all the things, all the students who are from a different colleges are, and Gen Z especially, are really, really precious diamond. What they only forgot about is that they are not believing in themselves. If with the mentor, with the right advice, with the right co-founders, other, they build anything. Trust me, I'm going to invest. Okay. And all other investors are going to invest because diamonds are for forever.
That is so wonderful. So I really enjoyed listening to you in the last bit because you beautifully connected your business with mythology and also the usage of Hindi in between. Even though I am not able to understand, I wasn't able to connect. But I mean, I wasn't able to understand the word, but I was able to connect with what you were saying about trying to explain. And also why I think students need to understand decision making, what importance they need to give for decision making. It's not just taking one random decision and just going ahead of it with it, but rather how to control your thoughts or how to navigate your thought process is very very important. I think when I talk to people or even in podcasts, several other podcasts, they don't teach you how to navigate your thought, and that is what you have done today. That's very wonderful, and that's very kind of you, sir. And you were explaining it so beautifully that it was very easy for any young student can understand. Yeah. All right. So it was a very absolute pleasure talking to you. And yeah, and also I'm very thankful for delivering such wonderful insights. And I believe it was such a great learning for my students as well as for me. And very thank you for having you today, sir. So thank you so much for joining us today. The journey from campus to unicorn is never easy, but as we have learned, resilience, creativity, and the courage to take risk make all the difference. To our listeners, keep dreaming big, keep building, and never give up your ideas. Until next time, stay inspired.